Okay, hello, welcome. My name is Lagu, and I am the creator of Skyco. And in the last video, we talked about um, we talked about so actually we rather created a front end client that is able to collect name right, that is able to collect name from anybody who visits our website. That case is able to collect the name of the person, their username, and then URL to the photo if they have any. And we went through in depth. We set up this project in Next.js, and I was saying that this you could do it in any kind of framework that you're comfortable with. It could be Vue, it could be plain React, it could be Angular, or it could be Svelte, whichever one that you are actually comfortable. Or you could even go crazy and just build actually mobile app using React, whatever. So whatever any front end that you have, that would be actually okay. Or you could decide and do essentially nothing, right? And just download the Postman, right? It's Postman, the universal sort of, let's say, like a front end, or just use the terminal to interact with the services that we are going to be creating. But unfortunately, um, those tools, if you use the curl, um, or you use Postman, other than like a dedicated front end application, it's going to be very difficult to demonstrate, or really get a feel of what the challenges of building a full stack application is. All right, and so um, in this particular video now, I just want to kind of get a little bit into approaching the heart of the problem that our framework is going to be using it, and we're going to go and set up a simple backend server using some of the simplest technologies that we could actually go by. And I think some of those in the past I actually used them successfully, and it worked really, it worked really well. So there are so many mocking services out there, but the one that I want to kind of do is that we want to make sure we set it locally. That's going to work for us, and then we'll see how those services are going to be. Now, I think if you type like mock API, mock APIs or something, you do a search on that, you would see like there is, I think this one here, this is most likely open source. No, this is a service that obviously ours is gonna work like kind of similar to. So something somehow like this, really quick, and then we can move forward. But unfortunately, this has this one has some kind of a price tag attached to it. So if you want to go there, you need to sort of pay that, and that's not very good. So we want this service to be our that we build for our own. So let's see if you also come. Let's see this other one here. This is another one. This is open source, which is great. And I think I even explored it a little bit to sort of to do some of the other stuff. So like if you come here, you could create you could create your configuration, and then and then sort of generate data and see how that is actually, you see how that is also going to work out. So I would recommend just go to the getting started in here and do the installation. You could either run the Docker. In my case, I just ran the homebrew version of this to kind of test and work it. And of course, if you are on Windows, then you can use the Choco thing. But I think for better for anyone who is running this outside there, I think that I would recommend the Docker would be kind of okay. For some reason, my the Docker version didn't work well for me on my machine, but that's my issue. Yours may be something completely different. So the other good thing about this is that that I recommend. In fact, we're going to probably spend some time like studying how this has been sort of like I mean, have been has been written. So like the source code is here. If you want to, you can actually jump in. You can jump in the on GitHub here and essentially go ahead and read it. And it has one of the best, let's say, license out there, in my opinion, MIT. So you can tinker around, you can adapt this for your use cases and see how things actually work out for you. Now, we also have others. There is this, let me see, there's Mockley, something called Mockley. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see it, but let's see. Mock API. Uh, a lot of these other services are just like they are bait to like a SaaS model level kind of stuff. Like they say it's free, but the unfortunate thing is that you're just gonna go. You have to go there and grab. You have to go there and grab the. I don't know. You have to go there and grab the. How do we say? You have to go there and grab. You start using it for free, and then later they kind of stick some sort of I don't know, price in your face, and it's, yeah. So there are there are services out there. It looks like it's free, but then at some point you're just gonna go and pay it. So it is actually spoiling the open source model of things. But you gotta pay people if the service is okay. So I'm not against like paying people if they've done good job, but most of the times people just use that to do that sort of thing. So okay, um, so just go ahead and using this keyword here and try to get a feeling of what these things are going to be. So let's actually, I didn't see this, but let's see what this one is. Online mock API service for fast prototyping and testing. So it looks like this is going to be the thing that we need. The features, RESTful, dynamic responses, user-friendly interface, collaboration tools, and all this type of stuff, ease of use. Okay, so this guy talks a lot about these. So essentially, I think we're going to probably draw some inspirations from this guy as well. And then see how this is going to be. So it looks like this is a proprietary service, but feel free to, I don't know, feel free to go and, feel free to go and do some sort of, feel free to, explore this and see if this is something good. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, I was kind of confused there for a second. I thought this is some sort of a website that lists like products, like Product Hunt, or because this is a lot of stuff, isn't it? Yeah, no way. No way. So yeah. What the hell is this? EU number one go to directory for automation testing tools and blah 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 whatever. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I thought it's the actually service, but it's like kind of something like a product hunt if you might think. So let's see. But for this, we don't need that. Yeah, see, this is where sometimes, this is where I hate, that I'm glad that I'm glad that AI actually I'm glad that AI has he has knocked out some of this stuff, because sometimes I just feel like Google search or any other search is just some sort of popularity, stuff. You spend a lot of time just searching things, you know. In those days when we were learning to build programming, um, I wish there was AI that you can ask questions quickly and then it can get that. But we were using the legendary, how do I say, Stack Overflow, something like so. Yeah, this is what we used to learn. This is where you used to ask a question. You ask a question, and sometimes it takes like forever for somebody to get back to you. So you spend like weeks and weeks. And when you are learning and you are stuck, it gets really, really, it's really a big problem, yeah. So that's how we learn. That's how I learned how to, how to code in those days. So, but in long live Stack Overflow, I rarely come to this website these days, but it is what it is. So, yeah. So let's get back here. Now, there is another one that is very simple. Let's say JSON placeholder. This is another legendary one that if you do that, it's also, I'm trying to see if they have changed certain things in the past. Just you can just like replace these and run and then you kind of get whatever it is that you want. All right, so we want some services like these. Essentially, if we want users, that we can get users right away, something like this. So you can see this is the database service that we can do. We can get, so probably we're just gonna go ahead and abstract and do the database stuff, and then define these HTTP the HTTP verbs, the REST endpoints for these things, for our stuff. But for now, we're going to go and do the oh, there's something new here. I don't know what this load is. Let's see. Maybe this could be yeah, load. What's a load? Simple and fast JSON database. Okay, so this is how many years ago? Damn. Okay, 4 years. How is it that I didn't see more about this? Is this the same stuff? Type code JSON server loady. Okay, it looks like this is even more older than the other ones. Okay, so this is, yeah, so I think low key, let's see, more canned, secure, document free, and monetize your API for free. Backend not ready. All right, so yeah, I don't like stuff where I have to write YAML. That's the reason I didn't want to use the other. I didn't want to use the other service, but the service for mock API, where you have to write like some sort of YAML file to generate stuff, it gets a little bit tedious. So we're gonna go ahead and do this our way. Okay. So there are sponsors here. Let's see. Okay. All right. So let's see here. We're going to see. What is it? What is it here? Yeah. So this is one of the thing that we're going to use to kind of expose our problem. But the reason I'm going to use JSON server is because it's it's very easy to spin it out, and we don't need anything that much. And we can also hook it up to some sort of backend services very quickly to kind of just give us like to plug into, and then at some point we can just override whatever comes up with the framework, and that's it. So okay, so let's see what's next here. Simple. This one is new. I have not yet I haven't tried these. So what is these? Um, what's the difference between? Okay, let's see. What is the difference? I can't capture that. The difference between these and and that. So both these and these are maintained by the same author, TP Code, and revolves around working with JSON file as database, but they serve slightly different. They serve slightly different um, purposes. Okay, it's lucky in-memory JSON database for local use in code. You want when you want a simple lightweight database inside your Nodejs code where data is read from and written to JSON file, it acts as a local .tb. You can manipulate programmatically. Okay. Pro Superlight embedded in your Node.js code, great for CLI tools, prototyping, Electron apps, or temporary stores. Not for REST API out of the box multi-use. Okay, so that's not what we want. Let's see, instant full REST API from a JSON file. Okay, when you want to mock a real backend with REST endpoint using JSON file, no code, great for front-end prototyping or testing APIs without setting up a real backend. Let's see these in blue. Okay, so difference, we have the type. This is embedded. So no server, code level data store, API mocking on FEC backend, CRUD via HTTP, no, yes, CRUD via JSON JS code. Yep. Okay, persistence JSON file. Typical use case CLI, small app tests, and front end dev API mocking. Okay. Okay, actually, let's see. So my question here is, can I can I use these to add backend logics in Node server such as Fastify, or yes, so yeah, this is Fastify. is a lightweight in-memory JavaScript object backed by JSON file on a disk. This makes it ideal for local development and small apps storing small to medium size data. User in this data avoid full-blown databases set up for prototyping. In Fastify, we can do stuff like so. db.js. Okay, let's do that in the Fastify server. User. Okay, so essentially async that and then Fastify, then we can add a new post. If you don't have like too much requests, can want to demo app in production environment, which do you choose? JSON server or low DB? Okay, if you want demo real in the production environment, like even with few requests, here is a direct and honest comparison to help. Choose based on what you want. Mock a REST API fast with no backend code, and we're gonna go ahead and go with that. Build a real backend with custom logic, Fastify, validation, etc. low-key. Okay, when you want to build real backend logic in Nodejs, is it fast if it's a demo or prototype? You need to validate data, add auth, and enhance rules. Okay, so it looks like okay, so it looks like this is the way to go. Looks like this is the way to go. So I think let's actually now here the AI sort of makes a very compelling suggestion for us to use Fastify with hold on, let me make sure that Fastify is exactly what we're talking about. Fastify.dev. Okay, so an efficient implied low cost infrastructure, better response and all that. Okay, yeah. Yes, so okay, this is what we are talking about. All right, that's good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that there and jump back to the AI. Hybrid is JSON server if you need a working API instantly and it's only for UI demo. This and then this. It looks like this actually. If you are demoing an app to real people, investors, or teammates, even with few requests, go with Fastify and this. Okay, so it looks like this is what we need. So yeah, it looks like the low D is the one that we're going to go with. So one thing I want to do is that say the app is running on Vercel. How does the low DB works its magic. Its magic to magic to man, this is terrible. Magic to process the JSON data on file. Canned. It's gonna understand that. Aha! Here's the real world catch. Can LD work on Vercel? Not reliable. Relies on writing to local file. This, which is not supported for persistent write on Vercel. While Vercel is serverless platform, serverless functions are ephemeral. Their file system resets after each run. So any file you write like db will be lost after the request is complete. So will work for reading during request, but any write will not persist across. Okay, so what you can do instead, use Vercel key value these Postgres Vercel blob for files and images. Then you can set your backend to use Vercel as a managed service instead of writing to files. So can you write the blob, the JSON file to this and can I write my JSON to Vercel blob? Then the answer is yes. Yes, you can write your JSON to Vercel blob. But you will need to manually handle the reading and writing from blob storage using their SDKs or REST API, since Law is not designed to work with remote blobs out of the box. On a Vercel blob, read it into the memory inside a serverless function, mutate it using this, upload the new file back to Vercel blob. Ooh. What doesn't work? Write won't magically persist to blob. Huh. Yeah, so that's gonna be a little bit of a bummer for ours, but it looks like we might do a better, we might try to see these fly well. So let's actually see this, because one of the reason we are doing this research is also somehow part of our service is gonna have to run like on the we want to have to write a service that we can kind of deploy. So, you know, uh, so that way people can actually use our services without having to, worry about setting like I don't know, a backend on their on their machine. So let's see. Um, So okay, back. Let's see here. What about rail? What is this rail? I heard about these guys, but I've not seen. Let's see their pricing. Pay per use pricing for every single workload. No provisioning server. No paying for unused resource. Just pay for what your app uses and not a penny more. Okay. Memory $10 per gigabytes per month. Let's see, CPU volume, egress. This is how is this different from the rest of the other for hobbies developer building side project include the single developer works. Okay, so there's really nothing for free here. Okay, so that is probably not where we want to go. Let's see, come back here. Maybe we'll figure this up at some point later, but I'm just trying to make a decision here to see how we should do this. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna go. I think, let's see. That's yeah, we're not gonna go and do that. So let's see. Okay, so let's actually, before time goes run off here, let's try to just set up a quick kind of API so we can essentially just call this right away and just do some work. Okay, so please give me REST API in Fastify, and that should receive user data as defined in the schema to add, delete, edit, and get one user and all users. So we already did that, so we're just gonna go ahead and so now here we just want to go here and for right now I think we will need to come here user apps. Let's just come here for now, users, and then we're going to say here, let's say framework. Let's say this is going to be the framework, mkdir frame b service framework. So cd b service framework, and we're going to be in that. And so we don't have anything for now. Let's see, what do we need to do here? So for right now, we just need this stuff. So let's say give me a create command for this. Terminal create command. Okay, CLI create command for this. That's not what I want. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do this by ourselves. So I'm going to go touch for now. I'm just gonna go touch here and say, what do we need for this stuff here? We need schema dot.ts db.ts. I don't know if it's db.ts or server.ts or something like that. So we have these, and we are going to go and add the schema already. Yeah, the schema, we already needed that. Okay, so for now, let's actually not do this here, but let's just do this in the backend code for this other stuff. So let's see, let me go back and cd into users, and then here, if we are here, we should sort of go to we need to go to the cd into app, and then users to app users, and then backend, and here we just need to do touch and add that. Okay, so we have added all those files in there, and let's see, what do we need to have now? Okay, so next is we will need to, because I'm trying to avoid these, so we don't have to have that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go to the DB here. Is it a DB? I think so. Something like this. Yeah, this is the db.ts. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab that, the user thing, and post that there, and load d, and also add that yarn add load d, and we now have that. Okay, so load d, why is this one complaining? Expected 2 arguments but found only 1. Let's see if what Copilot is going to do. Okay, so accept, I think. Yeah, all right, so let's do that. And then the types, we already have that. And what about the server? This is first file, so we're going to copy this and jump to the server here and add that. So first thing, we need to grab those schemas. So here is the tricky part, because already this stuff is running in the server, so we really want, I think ChatGPT was right. Those schemas need to be those schemas they need to be in a separate place. So I think that is right. So I might just have to go and move those files into those other places. I think the one that we created at first, because we need the Fastify server to be running in another place that we don't want to. We could run it actually here. There's no problem with this, but I'm just gonna go and note here that this should be running in a separate another place. Let's see if we're going to have a problem, but we will need to now. Okay, now this one here. Please move the server in another place somehow here. So okay, so we're going to go, and I'm just gonna go ahead and add this. This is a very bad practice, but we will try to actually, just not to confuse you, let's actually do this somewhere else. So we need to create, the server needs to run in a very different environment, in a different kind of Node.js environment. So let's see, since we have this one here, I'm just gonna go ahead, because the chat okay, can you give me a full step of running the first file server? So let's see. So we will need to do these. So it looks like we just have to initiate this. I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this and jump to one of these other stuff that we were doing. Let's see. I think we need to come here. So let's go. Where is that? Yes, so we are here. So then we just need to initialize that stuff there. And now we need to grab these. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut these. Maybe not cut, but just put it somewhere. Let's see. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it somewhere. Let's go. I think we need to open a new instance of code for this as well. And I'm going to go ahead and trust this, and I will come here in the server and just basically paste that. And why does that always have to come there? And I'm just gonna go ahead as this one says nanoid. Where is the other stuff? So let's just go ahead and grab this from here, the DB stuff. Let's grab that and change to this one and paste that there. And then let's see what else in the schema. We also need to get that schema, because now these are in a different project workspace. We might at some point want to set up a mono repo maybe, so this way we don't have to like install everything over and over. But for now we'll just do this manually, and we'll clean that at some point. So let's go there, the schema again. That's actually very bad. That's this shouldn't be there. So let's see. Okay, so this was we have our schema somewhere here. Then we would have to put this here. We also need to install Zod there, and of course we need to have looks like we also need the types. Let's see, not that one, this one, is it this one, or what the hell, what's going on? So this one, yeah, so we need the type, types.tsx, not tsx. And then the next thing we want here is we obviously need to install the dependencies now that we have this as a Nodejs backend. So we now need to come here, jump here, and install all of this. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and use yarn add. It looks like that's it. Let's see, anything? Yes, okay, so fastify and some of those other things are gone now. And then schema, this is good. The schema is good. The type, that's also good. And what about here? So we just need to make sure we grab this from the right place. In the type, here, let's try to see why that's not coming. Yes, okay, there we go. So the type is also good. And now what about this one? We need to grab those schemas, add all missing ones, and then we now have those. Okay, so let's see, what else do we have here? Then we should be able to run. We should be able to run these, I think. It went ahead and did a different thing, or what? In the DB. Let's see, in the package, we're just gonna go ahead and add these. I think we also need to add some stuff here. Let me see. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put this somewhere here in my second screen, so I can put this very fast. You don't need to worry about the other stuff. So let me grab these and come here and add something like okay, so we need to jump into the JSON package and then add some script here. We're gonna go ahead and grab and leave that one away. We also need to create a DB. We need to create a DB JSON kind of stuff as well. Touch. We have this, and the content of this is we're just gonna go ahead and include user here for now. And there's going to be no user. So let's close all of these, I believe. So let's see. Okay, so step one, let's see here. So step one is we need to initialize the project, and then from here we install the necessary dependencies, and I'm going to go ahead and do that and run this. Let's do that. Okay, so we have that has been installed. So let's see, what else do we have? Then the project structure. Okay, the schema, we've already created the schema. The types, we've done that. And then the DB is gonna come here. It's gonna have this. users. We can do all of that. Hold on. How does this doesn't make sense? Yeah, so there's a problem here. We're gonna go ahead and catch that later, but for now let's just go ahead and deal with this. For now, let's go there. Okay, so the server sort of kind of got improved, and then we now want the JSON, and then we add the script for running that, and then we can run the server. Let's see. Let's see, yarn add, let's see, yarn add TTX. Okay, so it looks like that is also done. So here the problem right now is this one. How the hell is it that we no. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. There's a problem here. How is it that you use a weight in the not in some sort of a function, right? I don't know how that is possible, but let me try to ask chat GPT here. And let's see here. Okay, step by step. Let's see, there are await without async. Using await outside the async function is normally not allowed. So how does this work? Here's what's happening. Okay, so this is the argument the chat is giving me. I don't know if this is correct, but maybe there's something new I can learn here. But I said, okay, so I ask it, I said await without async. Say, okay, great catch. And it's telling me that here's what's happening in your code. This only works if you are in a top level ES module. ES module, okay, where the type is this, or using a modern runtime like TSX or bundle this, and this works. You are using TSX, which supports top level await, or your package includes this, and you're running that. This fails if you're using regular CommonJS. Are we using regular CommonJS really, or is this some sort of hallucination? I'm just gonna go ahead and delete this for now because we don't need two locks since we're using yarn. Okay, so let's see. Let me see if this is actually correct because I have no idea what the chat is actually saying. The module type, the type here, this is going to be module, and this will be type, I think. So let's see. Does it still work? Top level await expressions are only allowed in when the when the module option is set to ES this. Okay, so let's go ES22. Okay, is module says this one is a what is that top level, what is that if the only when the module options Okay, for now, let's see if that is the right thing. Huh. There are some weird codes that AI writes that sometimes I'm just not very familiar. Like this one here. What the heck is this? um, so the DB essentially is either this or it's a that. Oh man, damn it. Um, okay, so we have that wrapped up there, but now let's see. Let's try to do here yarn dev. Let's run that. And then let's see if the server is actually going to be, the server is running at these really. Okay, so let's go ahead and do local. So now here is the other thing. So before we even go to these, let me just open a new stuff. Let's do a curl, and let's say a curl http http and local host 300. It's just 3000, sorry. What is it saying? Okay, rejection port was not a decimal number. Really? What's wrong with this? This is bad. Okay, what is wrong with that? What is wrong with what I just did? Okay, so all right, so that I forgot those other stuff. So okay, status code message route not found. So well, we need to probably add that route. If we go to, if they, we need to tell Fastify that if an event comes to just these, if an event comes to just these, then we just need to return something like just need to return message server is running on port. So we need to just create something here, const port. This should be something like maybe 3004, something like that is running on this. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put this in some kind of backtick there, and also this. So let's see that. Okay, so we have this. I'm just trying to guesstimate these, see if this is gonna work. I haven't obviously worked with Fastify before, but at least I can understand what the code is kind of doing. And then here we can just put here this as port. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and restart this server. What's the port number? The port number is, that is going to be 4. So it failed because there is no server running in that on that port. So let's see, yarn dev. Okay, so it says is this one. Now we have this, that's good. So we also have this one, we can actually curl this now. And then let's see what's gonna happen. That is for our React, and this is for our curl. Let's do that. Aha, perfect. Our server is running on this. So now that is good. So now we can interact with our server. What about Carl 3000? Is that still running? That's not running. So let's actually go ahead and terminate that. I don't know where that one is. What is this one here? Dev. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and kill that. And also, I think this other project here, Dev. And then we know that the server is listening to that. That is okay. So okay, so we have quickly set up a Fastify server here. So that server is actually now running. So we can now do yeah, we can now do this stuff. Okay, so essentially now in our code we could go ahead and actually here in the if we want to really try to see if those rest points are properly exposed, so we should do something like Postman. I think Postman would be the ideal way to kind of go. We could also use, I think, VS Code, but I don't know. Yeah, we could use Postman somehow, somewhere there. I'm just gonna go ahead and sign up to Postman right now. Okay, open Postman. So now we have the, so I'm just gonna come here to Postman. I'm going to add a new request, and this request is going to be going to that. Tell me to stop. So it's gonna be localhost, but instead of it 300, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this to 4. So if I send a get request, we should see that our message is running. Now, what I'm going to do is switch gears here. I'm just gonna go ahead and put like the post stuff in the body. I'm going to go to the raw. How do I say? Is it a raw? Like I think we need the data JSON beautify. Let's see. Yeah, so let's go here. Then we need user, we need name, I think. What is our schema saying? The schema for the user. So for the user schema, we need this stuff. We need, when we are creating this, we need user name, lagu, longa, and then we need the name. Oh no, this is actually this is supposed to be name. This is user name, lagu, and that should be it. So if we actually not saving it, if we actually go ahead with this and not cancel but rather post, if we send this to, I think, users, let's see what happens. So we expect to see this thing running here. So let's go ahead and send that. Where is Postman? So there it is. So I'm going to go ahead and send that, and then it say perfect. So the user has been created. So we also then need to change, I think, gears and just go get the users. There we go. So we have users that has been created. So let's post some more. Saron. Let's do Saron Sharon Lagu, and we're gonna go S Lagu, and let's go ahead and post that. So we have that, and if we switch gears and come there and drive there, so we should see now 2 users in our database. That's perfect. And what's happening here? So you can see there is some kind of information that's being exchanged, and the things are working. So we have that. Let's see. Let's add another user. So per se, let's say Tom Hakuli. I don't know. TH her, whatever. Cooley 23. Users like doing that, right? Realistic users. And that. Okay, so now we have that. Oh no, not that one there. Let's actually post. We're going to have to post, and then let's get that. And that's a little bit confusing there, but essentially with Postman, what we are doing here is we are using Postman to interact with our backend service, because we created this backend service here in Fastfile here. So we are interacting with it, all right, and and we're seeing that it's actually working. So also, if I grab one of these, so if I go here, so essentially if I grab one of these user name here and just go there and add that there and say get, I should only get this one here. So also the get is also working, the get of the other one is also working. So I think our API service is actually working well. So bravo, ChatGPT actually has done some pretty good work here. So what have we actually learned? So we have seen that we use the AI to essentially scaffold and build a backend service that we can use to create users, and this user is actually stored in the database, like you can see here the way this is being done. And for now, the thing is stored in a JSON, in some sort of JSON kind of stuff. But you can see we could use this to kind of scaffold many other things. So this is how usually you would build the backend service like this, and then once the backend service is built, then you are going to have to hook it up to your front end. So now the next thing actually we want is to now see, I'm actually going to, just for a better stuff, we're just gonna go ahead and use the chat. We're gonna use the chat GPT to kind of help us again complete the whole thing. We're gonna have to say, okay, now let's okay, so let's say show me now. Okay, so let's say okay, let's say bravo. Let's give it let's give it bravo. The code you have written to produce the REST API is perfect, and it's working after testing some of the endpoints in Postman, and the CRUD is working well. Oh, before we actually do that, can we actually test to make sure that we can delete this user? So essentially what I want here is I want to be able to delete this particular, there's one user here. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete it just because I don't like her. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this user. So for us to delete, as per the specification of our server, for us to delete, what's the delete endpoint. So the delete endpoint is this one here. We're going to go to the user and pass the ID and then just call that, hit that part. So we would need to go here, and essentially it's this one here, but instead of sending that, we are just going to go ahead. I think I'm going to go and delete that person there. That's going to delete Sharon. And because she's a bad girl, I'm saying that if your name is Sharon, I don't mean you. All right, so let's go ahead and delete that. Okay, so we did that. Now let's go ahead and actually try to get all the users and see if we still see Sharon there. And there enough, Sharon is not there, so we all have men there because men are terrible. Okay, so let's go. Let's now we know, at least we've tested all this stuff. The one thing that we haven't tested is the out this one here. So try to go, if you're doing this, also try to see if you can test that on your own. But I'm not gonna do it because I think I know it works. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the chat and say that works well. Now let's wire our front end. The front end we created earlier to collect, to save, you now save the data through the REST endpoint. Okay, so let's see that. All right, so now we are going to go here and do the create API. Okay, so this is in the API for the next, I think. Okay, all right, so this is in the Next.js. It's saying that we need to do something like that. So I think this is good. Yes, this is exactly how I'm going to kind of take the role. But I think for the APIs, we are going to have to create this differently. So this would be APIs, users, and the stuff source users. Okay, so where is this one coming from? So let's see. Okay, so assuming you already have the user form component Zustand on this running there, and running the rest is on this, will replace local store logic with API calls. The API services functions get post these all from the Zustand. All right, so let's see. Is this in the, I think this is a server component, but why is it putting it in an API folder or something? I'm not quite sure, but let's see. And then the use form. Okay, so it looks like this is great. Yeah, so it looks like this is great. So let's try to go ahead and wire this up. So I'm going to go here and see. First of all, these are, what are these? I think I'm just gonna go ahead and put this in a server. I'm gonna call these server actions instead of calling them as I don't know, instead of calling them something like endpoint or whatever. Okay, so I will copy this and go to Next.js. The one that we are running, which was here. So I'm going to go here in the backend here, and then I'm going to create here, I'm going to say services. Services.ts, and I will just put this one here, and this is going to be a server component use server. So, and I'll get rid of this one here and just go ahead and change these. All right, so because this is going to be user services, so I think for this it really did a great job of capturing this, but then it kind of hallucinated because usually I wouldn't want to put this in the API, because APIs are not written like this in the Vercel, in the new in the app router. That's not how I think that. I don't know, I might need to check, but I don't think this is how it's being written, like if you want classic APIs. So I just think this is great for server components. So we are just going to go and put this one here. So for now, I'll get rid of this, the server stuff. We don't need that. And the schema also, we don't need this schema. Whatever, the content is actually wrong, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of that, and also get rid of this one here. So here we just have the service, the user service. That's what we have. So now, and then it wants us to make some sort of adjustment to the, it wants us to make adjustment to the, okay, so first is we have updated that, and let's see here, we're going to go here and now update the Zeus stand, update the Zeus stand store. So now this store is going to be updated because we have to have, because we are now adding stuff to the backend. We're calling the backends here. So those APIs, I think we're just going to go ahead and change them at some point. Let's see, as APIs, yeah, but it's not supposed to be APIs. They're supposed to be called server, I think server stuff, but I don't know. I'm just doing this the way I think I understand it better. So we're gonna go here in this one, in this stuff here. I'm gonna go ahead and change the let's see, in the front end we want to change the store. We're going to need to update the store, and then we will need to grab that and also this. And so first thing is we need to update this stuff. Okay, so not just that, but we need to add all of this. And then from here I'll just get rid of all this API stuff, and that is gonna leave them exposed, but that's okay because now I can add them all here. And we now have this from the server component, so the Next.js can now interface with it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get hold on, I think I pasted this in a wrong stuff in the user store. Did we have something like a user store? Yeah, I think so. We didn't call it user store, we just use it like, we just called it like store. That's it. But let's just change this because it made it like a store, so we're gonna go ahead and change that. And that's gonna break stuff in the hook, because now we need to let's see that one there, use store. So why is this not the case? Create user, it calls it add user. What about this one? Edit user, remove user, I think, remove user, and then get users, then I think users. I think we didn't do users, we didn't get the users. think we need to use this one, get user, and we are going to need to add that get user, and in the store, in the user store, I think we're going to have to do that. This is called load users, I think. Get user, we essentially need this, the remove user, and get user. Then we also need to say here get users. Okay, get user. I think this is going to return users. This is going to return that user. Get user, where is that? Get a user. I think that's the one that we need. That's gonna be tricky, isn't it? Get user. So we can rename this maybe something different. Get one user. Yeah, let's just call this get one user, and let's just get one user. Down here we are going to go okay, so we have that is working, and then what is the problem here? Get user, I think this is the one. Do we actually need these? User, and then we're gonna go and return these. Return this user, but we also want to go ahead and in the the way we did it here in the add user, so we're gonna go ahead and set that state. We need to do it this way, set state, and this is going to be the user. Yes, because we want to add it to the other user, but we should see, do we need to return anything here? This one we don't need to return any shit. Sorry. Okay, so we have that. All right, so that is, I think, corrected, and it looks like the hooks and everything else is kind of working well now. Okay, so let's see, what do we now have here? Okay, so that is it. Now we also need to kind of change the form, user form. Let's see, this is going to be user form, and I'm going to go there and just paste that there so I would see what is happening. So let me grab all of this, and it looks like that's working perfect. Okay, and then any other changes that we need to perform? Let's see. What are the changes? Is it suggesting that we should perform? Then in the app.tsx, it says that we need to make sure we load these, load users. Do we, should we actually, do we need to do this? Yeah, let's see. In the app, where is our app? So we're gonna go ahead and check that in this one, in where the user is. So we just, it's recommending that we do this, and we are going to go ahead and grab that, and then the use store, let's see. It looks like we're going to need that, and that is it. So okay, use list. So apparently if we come here, then if we refresh, I was hoping that we would get this. I was hoping that we would get like we would get the users there, but that's shame, that's not working. So let me see here, load users. Is that actually working? So let me actually console log this here and see if any of this stuff actually worked. So let's see here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and check this one and then console that. Okay, so essentially that this particular stuff is not working. Correct. So what is the, I'm assuming there is a problem here. So we're saying if there is no user, then we need to, if there is user, then we need to put that. This is our user stuff. Let's see. So let's see, is this actually running? Some XX, boom. Just trying to test to make sure that that particular function is running. Okay, so it looks like this component is not running. For now, let's figure out why that's the case. The user list, where is this one being called? This is not being called anywhere, essentially. Ah, damn it. We didn't put this in the right place. So we don't want to put this one here, but rather I think it should be in the user manager. So that's where this is supposed to be. And let's try to bring that here and grab that as well. And then, yeah, and then run that. Okay, so let's see. There we go. Now we see that there are 2 users in the array, so that is working. And we also have these. Let's see. So now if I go ahead and add another one, Arun Ainanya, and this one is Aruna, and just to create that, then you can see, boom, we now have Arun Ainanya open. So even if now I refresh, so you can see here, you can now see that this particular part of the UI is sticky. It's essentially there, and it's now remembering this because we see that our server is running, and it's actually providing the backend services for us to now for us to do what? For us to essentially store our users, so we can create as many users as we want as of now. So we can so let's bring back Sharon, the stubborn lady. Okay, so let's put that one there, and then we can say, all right, so we can say here, how do we say, what do we do here? Then we can say s lagu, and then the URL, we're just gonna go ahead and create that. So you can see now we can do that, and I'm going to, let's say, change this. Let me try another one. I'm going to say steepen border, and I'm going to do here also say s border, and I'm going to create that. Now, problem is that I spelled the name Steven wrongly. It's not supposed to be Stephen. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this, and the edit right away is not working. It's not trying to, it's not populating the it's not populating this stuff. It's not populating the users. So if I click edit, it changes the rest of the, you can see it changes this other stuff and that one there, but it's not doing the work. So let's go ahead and see what is happening. So usually the edit value is like a tricky one. So let's see. Let's see what's going to happen. Editing user. So here we are going to say either null or whatever. Let's see. So we click here in the edit. So we need to go ahead and set editing user. Okay, so we are setting here, we are setting in this function, we are setting the edit user. So first of all, let's confirm that we are actually setting the right user. And so I am going to go and push that there. Also, the next thing is that I'm just going to go ahead and console log that user and see if we're doing the right thing, and I'll open the stuff. So we're debugging this. If you know where the problem is, I don't know, it might be kind of too late, but I will fix this and then we'll see what's going to happen there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now, which user do we have? We are having the user Stephen Bor, and then that's correct. So essentially we are updating this correct, but the issue is that we're not seeing this one. So let's see. First, we need to have that. I'm just gonna go ahead, editing user, and okay, so editing user for right now is null, but as soon as I click that, then we see the editing user actually changes to the one that I have clicked. So it looks like the state is also working well right now here. So what is our problem? So our problem is here in this form. Our problem is in the form. So the form is having a default. Let's see what's the mod here. The mod here is create or edit. So it looks like also, are we sending the mod? Let me see. Is there, okay, is editing user, is it the mod? I think the mod is going on well. Then the only problem is that we're not the only problem is that we're not updating the correct user stuff, I would say. So let's see. Let me say that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep that there like that. So we know at least the problem is not here. The problem is in this one here. The problem is in the form. So let's go there. And then in the form here, I'm just gonna go ahead and plot a bunch of other stuff here. Default, the default user, and then mod. I want to see those two things to see what is going to happen. So if I refresh this, the mod and this one, the mod is correct, it's create. But right now, if I just go ahead and click on Stephen, what is the mod is edit, and we're also getting the correct data that's being there, but the problem, the data is not being populated. So I'm thinking what is the problem here? So so we're putting a double question mark here. So if it is there, then we need to put this as the default. Yeah, I thought that's supposed to work. Yeah, I thought this is supposed to work, but why is it not working? Let me see. What about the error? The error should not be a problem. Let me just put it here. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and think a little bit here, but let's see. That's Stephen, and the error, is there any error? No error. But that shouldn't be actually there until we have the right thing. So I'm thinking, why is this not the case? So if it is so for now I'm just gonna go ahead and do it this way. If there is this value, if there is a value, then we need to add it to this one, or we're just gonna put it there. I'm just gonna go put it in the long way to see whether that's the case, because it's probably it's not gonna have any change. But the trouble is this thing is not changing. It's not populating the field right away. Why is that the case? Update user. Let's see, edit user. This is okay. I'm pretty sure some of you have spotted the problem, but let's see. I'm just trying to think here what exactly is the problem. I think the problem is with the resolver. Don't you think so? The resolver here is the problem. This value is coming. Well, we know that value is coming, and we also know could this be okay? So in the use form, all right, so let's see in the AI. I'm just gonna go ahead and see if it can illuminate me here. So okay, most of this stuff is working well, but editing does not pre-populate the form fields on clicking edit button in the form list, in the user list. This component, I am thinking and okay, so all component arguments, args like args like these, args args like these ones passed properly. The use form is not resetting its internal state when the default is changes. This is the common quirk of React hook form. I thought so. So so now the best way to do this is what the hell is gonna happen? Man, the quick fix, damn it. Yeah, this is gonna go and have a bit of trouble here. Well, that sucks. Yeah, I thought so. So okay, so let's see here. On edit mode. So let's see here. So I thought that was the problem, and indeed it is. Let's see. I think it must be the problem. And should we use the reset form or what the hell? Okay, so let's see that. Then come back here. Do that, and then let's see. Okay, there we go. Stipend. And I'm just gonna go there and do these and update. Okay, perfect. So now we have that, but the problem again is that this stuff is not being done. So what if we go there and we create another one? We can see Stephen Bohr is again another one, so that's not very good. We want on editing this to something like boring and update it. We want to make sure we clear that thing. The default should not be there. Yeah, looks like the default is there, but why is that not changing? We want to reset. We want to reset that. It looks like we might need to do this something there like this reset explicit. It looks like. Let's see that. Okay, so we are going to do this from Stephen Bohr to update that, and then perfect. Now we don't have any of those things there. Now that's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that, so we know that delete is also working now, and perfect. So yeah, so looks like we have all this stuff now working up. And let's see here in our in our backend. So in the database, we should have how many arrays here? We should have the 5, and then in the front end there are also 5. If I delete one here, then we should see immediately here there should be 4, which is great. So yeah, so essentially this is good. So now, so what just happened? So we have now clearly done we've now done incredible amount of work here, and we are able to do all this stuff. um, let's see. So i'm I'm happy to actually welcome like some kind of corrections to see if there's a better way of doing this stuff. Obviously, you do not want to run code. You do not want to write code like this in production. This is just to demonstrate some of these things, and in the future parts of the course, we are going to make sure that we tidy this stuff up properly so that it's kind of readable, and then also kind of matching whatever, formatting it to whatever sort of rules that our the company that you work for expects the codes to be written. But for now, this should suffice. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say, um, I'm just gonna go ahead and connect commit. So for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and connect the front end to backend services. Now, I don't know. I don't know how I am going to kind of explain this, but some of you might be having a bit of I don't know. Some of you might be having a bit of a trouble here. But essentially, what we have done here is that this is what is called a full stack application development is. And when I was learning building software, like um, like essentially how you connect the back end to the front end or the front end to the back end, this used to confuse me a lot, right? And this is why in when we were working that I decided to create like two projects. One of this is essentially is uh is handling the backend services. So backend services usually they are headless. They operate by giving you, in most cases, they communicate using uh, JSON data, and this could be either on different sort of protocols, whether that is HTTP or it's GraphQL or SOAP or or WebSocket communication, but almost always the intermediary data is almost going to be in JSON format, and uh, and then at times that you have to deal with blob files or things like really actual files that could be like video, audio, or some sort of some kind of file that on your disk that has some sort of storage into it. So then you have to have you deal with some sort of blob, but blobs are kind of handled differently. But in most cases, data communication is just going through either JSON, YAML, or whatever. But I haven't worked on a project where data is transferred on wire using YAML, but I understand that that could be one of the other way of doing stuff. I'm not very sure, but the most common one, the sure one that whenever you pick up any project that you're going to have to deal with is JSON. And so this is important that you have to a learning point for you here is that you gotta make sure that you understand JSON really well. And apologize, I didn't go to the nitty gritties of this stuff and was just purely using the AI. But you can see this is also great because now you see like how AI can speed up like code production. You don't have to write all of this stuff up by yourself. So imagine if we have to write all the backend services by ourselves. This is going to be really, really difficult. And for like for stuff like this, in most cases in a production environment, creating something this is a little bit simpler, I would say, but creating stuff like this sometimes it could take days, really. You know, in like in a production environment, so you have to sometimes the delay is not just about like you as a developer, but in the in like in working in teams, sometimes you find out that the back end delays the or the front end is something somewhere somebody hasn't completed it up like a mock-up, or because front ends also have different sort of you know teams that are sort of assembled together. So for example, like here I did everything right, but essentially how the interface of this user management system could look like, maybe somebody somewhere is going to be giving you a wireframe, maybe using wireframe sort of you know let's say mockup software. So you have the Adobe XD, and you can also have other other mocking and user design stuff people would have there. And so they would create that and they'll give you the wire frame, and then you're going to kind of translate those wire frames into a UI that looks like this, that actually user can actually use it. So what is left here now, what is left here is for us, in order for our for users to actually completely use this application really well, we would need to actually have to create some kind of we will need to deploy it, right? So in most cases, in most cases you will find that the backend service runs in another, the backend service, which is this one here, this runs into another server somewhere else, and then you connect to it from your front end using using React, something like this, where we specify the API endpoint. This is gonna be the base one, and then we can create our services around this or something. So um, the goal of this course, it's not about to demonstrate to you how you can create a full a full, how do I say it, a full stack application like this. But the goal here is now uh, to override, right? To essentially have, we need to have some sort of framework that we are going to kind of get. So we all we want is in our backend services, in our front end, such as like Vercel, sort of not Vercel, but Next.js or in React or whatever. We don't really care how this part of things is actually going. We want something like this, right? So we just want to specify what we want. The thing we want is just, we just want to say, okay, we want to build some kind of framework, and in that framework is going to expect for us something like hey, this is the user. We give to the framework the shape of the user in terms of I believe in terms of the schema, and then from there, from the schema, from the schema, then this backend service is gonna know what to do, right? Like it can spin up for us, especially the main endpoints that it can spin it out for us. But then also we wanna we I don't know, we might want to kind of do some kind of processing. So if we want to do some kind of processing, we can actually do it around here. But essentially the database layer, we don't want to worry about it. We don't want to be writing code like this, like writing all this code to kind of manage the database. We don't want this. Now sometimes like you, there are so many, of course there are so many other third party apps there that actually helps you, like some third party backend services out there that actually helps you to intercept these things here, where you don't have to do exactly, you just call the API endpoint like the way we are calling here. And in most cases, you could also do this. Essentially, we can even do this. We don't even need to do this in the Vercel's backend. But the reason we're doing it at the Vercel backend is just so this way we know that at least if we want to process some like when we get the data from this third party or from our database, so we can, for example, say, is this data going to the right user? Is this a private data, or is this whatever or whatever? So that comes when we can do some sort of a minor kind of how do I say, we can do some minor backend work here, but we don't want to worry about what the heck is going on here in our backend. So as a front-end developer, we don't care how this code is written. All we care is that we give data to the front end, and that front we give data to that front end, and that front we give data to that service, and that service should know what to do, and that's it. And we just specify using our front end, this is our intention, and whatever needs to happen to that database, to that data, we don't really care. We give it, it does whatever it wants to do, and it gives back for us to respond, and that's what we need to care about. So this way, our focus is not about building the backend service, right? Our focus is not about building these backend services, but our focus is almost always going to be about what the user is going to be seeing here, right? We only care, as a front end developer, we only care about how our code is going to be doing this, but also we want this service to enable us. We should be able to demonstrate this thing either to the user in environment spaces or whatever, so that when the backend team are ready, we just essentially we easily swap this stuff. We swap these services. We don't even need to change. We only need to change this stuff, right? We only change the URL here, and that's it. We don't change anything here, and our code will just work in production, and that's it. So if there are some processings that we kind of want to do, we can do those processings here based on what the service is actually giving us. But this is why I chose like Vercel, because then it can help us like do some of these things here. We can do some lightweight serverless server processing work essentially here. So you can see this is great, and I'm hoping that you have learned a lot from here. And in the next video, we are actually now going to start planning to see how we are going to write the framework. So any of this stuff that we've been doing, we have just been doing this to expose the problem that we are talking about. Now the real work where we are going to really learn properly is when we started to now override this, when we start to kind of get rid of this one here. And so this is the thing of that video that is coming next. So again, thank you very much for watching this. I know this has been a very, very rough one, and you probably might be jumping from one point of the video to another one, but in the end we've gotten this stuff done. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of push this code to GitHub, and obviously I'll also add the link to the stuff. And don't forget, if you want to thank me, come here and put some green here on my on my worldwide contribution here on Skyco. So if you come to the rep, if you come to skyco.com and you go to /rep and /lagu, this will bring you right away to me there. You can also actually scan this URL. You can also scan this URL code, the one that is almost coming here if you want to, if you're on another device. So you can actually do this, and then obviously I will see it when I come here that you were able to appreciate me. And that is great to me, because it also shows that, hey, you care about what it is that I'm doing. But also by you being here on this platform and using it, this will also let me know that essentially, this thing is actually helping people out there. I know there's a number of users here. There's quite a bit of people here who are trying to build stuff on this, even though it's still in development. And then for the courses, the course materials, I'm going to make sure that I put them all here in this particular in this course that I'm developing. And once everything is kind of completed, then I'm going to kind of publish it. And then for those of you who feel like you want to read, so you don't have to watch like a lengthy video like this, then you can just come and read the prepared note here and follow the examples. And so I'm going to include steps, procedures, ups and downs that we have watched, because I know the video is very, very long. So we need to have like some sort of quick reference that you can come around, so this way you don't have to watch it over and over. So yeah, if you enjoy this, please let me know. Either give me a thumbs up on the YouTube algorithm, or wherever this video is sort of published, and then make sure you come and join me here on Skyco as well. That would mean the world to me. Okay, bye, and see you next time.